I was recently accused by a former Facebook friend who was prior treated like family since the day I was born of quote-unquote pontificating to a party of one. Well, I guess if I'm pontificating to a party of one, then what I say has no bearing. But on the off chance there's more than one of you, then I think it's best if I say what I gotta say. So, let me give you my 5 cents worth, because 2 just won't cover it. You know what's messed up? I'm a proud supporter of all those who need it most right now. I back the blue, as it's being called. I also support my country's military any way I can. All day, every day. Nobody will ever question my support of either of those organizations, and if they do, well, they don't know me enough to make that judgment. But I'll tell you this much, I'm not sworn to either. I'm not certified law enforcement. I'm not signed up for the military or reserves, and as such, I can say whatever I want, and not a thing can be done to me except maybe I lose a few Facebook friends. Oh well, your loss. So, having said that, what's really got me riled up is that a lot of our law enforcement officers and military are just that, riled up, and they can't say anything. There appears to be a movement in this country among various law enforcement agencies to hush those in their departments that might have, oh my God, had an actual opinion. Yes, folks, cops have opinions. Lest we forget that they're actually human beings until one of them, or 3 or 5 of them at a time, get gunned down and killed. They're human beings before the end of watch, folks. And all the brothers and sisters that are there beside them for days, weeks, months, years, they're human beings too. So what do you think it does to them when some nut job takes out 5 officers in Dallas and then 3 more get taken out in Louisiana? Or when right here in our own town, we get one of our own shot and fortunately he lived through it. You think they wouldn't have something to say about that? Well, I think their opinions should be heard louder than any of us. Those of us who aren't out there beside them doing the job, I think their opinion is what truly matters. Ours matter too, but theirs means so much more. And that goes the same with our military. Terrorist attack happens here on our soil. We get soldiers taken out by groups all over the world, daily. Turn on the news, folks. At the root of all the media muck, the Nancy Grace garbage, the Wolf Blitzer BS, and the Anderson Cooper crap, still lies a story about a soldier who gave his all fighting for our freedoms. And our soldiers have thoughts on that, and their opinions matter. But more and more, they can't speak those opinions. Why? Because the very freedoms they signed up to defend can end up costing them their jobs. Now, I know a few great cops. Actually, I know more than a few. Many are friends. Some are like family. And I talk to them a lot, most of them daily. They know where my support lies, and it's always firmly behind them, always. And in talking to one of them this evening, they made a very bold statement. Now, I'm going to paraphrase this, but they're more or less their words. Quote, "The fact is, the leadership in this country now has department heads and other agencies reducing the rank of those that speak passionately and truthfully against the propaganda in chief. Or, they call it conduct unbecoming of an officer, and folks are being reprimanded, or worse, at work. If they say half of what they really want to, they wouldn't make it to work in the morning before a superior officer would be calling them into the office. Worse, those statements being made can actually jeopardize people in the military too." End quote. Or end paraphrase, however you want to look at that. So, we're left with the horribly skewed media that are only out for their own agendas. The insert color here lives matter folks that are out to make financial or personal gains from tragedies like Dallas and Baton Rouge. This country is silencing the voices that have been standing up to silence the political agenda for years. Silence the propaganda-spewing goofs and the ones just out to make a buck. And it's not right. These are people that have fought for the right for those very people to protest. Not the scenes where one bad cop is seen doing something and everyone takes it as all cops are bad. The thousands daily that put on the uniform aren't like that. The thousands daily that put on the uniform and stand peacefully by allowing those groups to make complete and total jackasses out of themselves in half-assed, race-baiting, riot-inciting, quote-unquote, protests, as they call them. What you don't see on the news is those officers quietly standing there biting their tongues in half so that those protesters can assert their rights to free speech. The media doesn't report on the thousands of those that happen every day, and it doesn't report on the fact that when the day is done, those cops are now unable to express their opinion without fear of repercussion online or anywhere else. Let me say it, folks. Not everyone can be Grady Judd. Not everyone can stand in front of a crowd of people and say, yeah, we're cops, and guess what? We're gonna shoot you, and generally get a positive response. Not everyone can be Joe Arpaio, sticking inmates in pink underwear in 110-degree tent cities and getting praised for it at over 80 years of age. Don't get me wrong, I admire the hell out of both of those guys. And don't get me wrong, I have a lot more respect for the officers in blue and the soldiers in fatigues, who day in and day out protect our rights to be able to say what we want, how we want, where we want, with freedom, and now apparently they aren't given the same rights. What happened to a country built on a Declaration of Independence that speaks of certain unalienable rights, and then does not afford those rights to all, and worse, takes away those rights from those who have fought and died to protect them? Well, that's just my 5 cents. After taxes, I suppose I'll end up owing the government money. I'm pretty sure of that, but who am I? I'm just me pontificating to a party of one.